And welcome to the May 28th meeting of InvestGP. People on this committee are myself as Chair, Gladys Blackmore, Councillor Bressie, Councillor Plott, and Mayor Clayton, who is not at the meeting right now. I will start with an adoption of the agenda. Councillor Plott.
So moved.
Call a question.
In favor.
In favor.
And that does carry. Moving on to service area update, I'll go to Chief McEachern.
Thank you, Chair Blackmore. For our service area update today, I'll start with economic development. For the rural renewal stream, all previously qualified employer applications have been reviewed to ensure they meet new provincial regulatory requirements. 18 employer applications are currently in process. There are 417 available qualified positions, and in the last 2 weeks, 15 new employer applications were received and 21 candidate endorsement letters were processed. The Work Northwest Alberta Workforce Development Group has launched worknwalberta.ca, a comprehensive website showcasing all of the opportunity our region offers. And in events and entertainment, our mini pop kids played out to a sold-out crowd in the Bows on Friday, May 24th. Today, actually going on right now, is the Stompede Bust Out in the Bonnett's Energy Centre parking lot. It's a free community barbecue sponsored by Wapiti Gravel. And we have a new booking. The Grande Prairie Public School Division will be hosting their Indigenous graduation ceremony on June 6th in the Teresa Sargent Hall at Montrose Cultural Centre. For event listings, we have the Pride Society annual event, May 31st, Rainbow Bright Teen Dance, and June 1st, the Party in White. The Queen Tribute, June 3rd in the Bows. Grand Gathering Gala, June 15th. Grand Con Comic Conference, July 10th to 12th. Rotary Rib Fest, July 19th to 21st. And the Storm Main Camp, August 23rd, 25th. And lastly, Experience GP, Friday, August 30th. And with that, I can take any questions.
I don't see anyone's hands being thrown up. Chief McEachern, one thing I've been wondering about is with rural renewal stream, we get the numbers of the people who are in the pipeline, but we never seem to know if that pipeline gets closed. Is there any way of letting us know in a report how many people end up immigrating to Grande Prairie because of that, or successful job placements that take place because of rural renewal stream? I think that would be interesting information.
Thank you, Chair Blackmore. It is information that we are striving to retain, and unfortunately, it is a bit difficult in that we do reach out to get that information from employers and candidates. Although there is no requirement that they must get back to us, but it is something we're working with the province to see if we can get that information and close it off.
Even if that information came forward, even just once a year or every 6 months, it would be interesting to get, I think. Thank you for your report. Moving on, we have an IDP Project update. So Chief Glavin, are you introducing that?
Thank you, Chair Blackmore. Yes, today we have Green Space Alliance, who's the consultant who's jointly working with the city and the county on the IDP updates. They're here today to ensure the draft IDP aligns with Council's vision as well as confirming direction for the upcoming public engagement. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to the consultants that are online.
Okay, we have Griffin Hutchin. Is he online for this? Okay, we have one camera turned on, and I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to pronounce your name. So can you just leap right in and introduce yourself?
For sure. Good morning, everyone. My name is Jnanesh Deshpande. I'm a principal with Green Space Alliance. And with me today is Griffin Hutchin, who will be assisting me in this presentation. We have a third member from our team, Beth Sanders. She may join because this got delayed. She had to go into another meeting. But I'll be the one leading today's presentation.
Okay, so go ahead with your presentation.
Perfect. So I'll just share my screen. Is everyone able to see my screen?
Yes, it's up and visible. Thank you.
Perfect. That's great. Thank you very much. So good morning, and thank you very much for the opportunity to provide an update on this intermunicipal development plan project. Again, my name is Jnanesh, and I'm the lead planner leading this assignment from the consulting team's perspective. So today, I'll be providing a brief overview about the project, including the project timelines and the past engagement activities that we have undertaken for this project. I'll talk about the purpose of today's presentation to this committee, the overview of key changes that we have undertaken for the intermunicipal development plan, and I'll also provide an update about the upcoming public engagement approach and the immediate next steps related to this project. We also have some time available for questions and answers if you have any. So a bit of a background about this project. It is really, today we are just, this IDP is an update to the currently in effect city and county IDP, which was originally prepared in 2010. This IDP identifies two annexation areas, the first of which was a short-term annexation area, which primarily covered lands to the northeast and the northwest of the city. The second was the long-term annexation area, which covered the lands to the southeast and the southwest of the city. In 2016, the short-term annexation area was annexed and became part of the city. So, given the current IDP was prepared almost 15 years ago, and now an update to the IDP is necessary to ensure that the IDP provides direction that is representative of the current and future needs of both municipalities. So a bit about the project history. This project began in September 2019, so almost 5 years ago. The project was put on hold in mid-2020 due to the COVID-19 outbreak. During this period, the city and the county together developed the intermunicipal collaboration framework. The project was then reinitiated in May 2023. Following this reinitiation, and over the last 1 year, complete drafts of the IDP were gradually developed based on public engagement that happened in 2019 and 2020. Input from the Joint Steering Committee, which was established for this project, and the feedback from various industry stakeholders. I'm just going to provide a brief overview about the engagement that was undertaken for this project so far. Firstly, throughout the project, multiple meetings and workshops were conducted with the project steering committee, which was comprised of members from each municipal council who provided ongoing direction and guidance on the path to be taken for this project and the IDP itself. Second, a multi-stakeholder workshop was also conducted early on in the project in the late 2019 to help identify current issues in the IDP area and some of the challenges faced by the current IDP. Third, interviews with staff from the city and the county were undertaken. And then finally, very recently, we did a presentation to industry stakeholders for operating in the IDP area. So we undertook all this public engagement so far in the last 5 years. Moving forward, to begin with, I'm just going to provide a brief overview about the IDP area boundary itself. It encompasses the same area as the 2010 Intermunicipal Development Plan, which you can see on your map on the screen. So right here, there are like two blue boundaries. This is the outer boundary of the IDP, and this another blue boundary is the inner boundary of the IDP area within the city limits. So the inner boundary includes lands within 1/4 section from the existing city boundary, and the outer boundary is the same area as the existing IDP itself, which was developed in 2010. So I would like to reiterate the purpose of today's presentation. As you can see in my initial overview, it has been almost 5 years since we started this project. So at this point, the draft of the IDP that was developed, we want to make sure that the proposed policy direction and most importantly, some of the key changes and the mapping that we have developed for this IDP, we want to make sure that these drafts align with the Council's overall vision for the IDP area. We also want to make sure that we are confirming the direction for the upcoming public engagement. Our intention is that we have now worked with both basically steering committee members from both municipalities, and we have developed a draft. We have worked with administration. We have reached a certain level in this project. So we want to make sure that before we get those drafts to public for additional public engagement, we confirm this current direction with the councils, respective councils from both municipalities. And in addition, we are looking forward to any additional direction that you may have for any potential edits that may be required in the current drafts or the direction that we have established. So, as part of the production of the IDP, these are really 6 key areas or the key changes that we have developed throughout the process, which I'm going to highlight today for your reference. So the first one is the draft IDP vision. The second one is the future land use concept. The third one is the area structure plan requirements for the implementation of the IDP and how that is going to work. The fourth one is the referral requirements. The fifth one is servicing requirements within the IDP area. And the last one is the overall dispute resolution process. It is important to note that each of these key changes were undertaken because of the feedback that was provided at the previous engagement events, either by the steering committee, the public, and the industry stakeholders. So the draft IDP vision, I just want to note that in the previous IDP, there was no explicit vision stated as a vision statement in the IDP, but as part of this process, we established a graphic and a textual future vision for this IDP area. So I'm just going to reiterate what that vision is. The IDP area will continue to serve as a hub of regional prosperity by providing balanced economic development opportunities, promoting and integrating a range of rural and urban lifestyles, enhancing and supporting the cultural diversity of the communities within and around its boundaries, facilitating land use evolution in a fair and equitable manner while respecting existing development trends in the area, and finally, promoting continued cooperation between the partner municipalities. So really, this draft IDP vision would provide a high-level guidance when both municipalities are implementing the IDP through the policy framework and the implementation framework of the IDP. So this slide really highlights the future land use concept of the current intermunicipal development plan. Now, the future land use concept map is really a standard component of any intermunicipal development plan, which presents a vision how land use types will be allocated throughout the IDP area. The current IDP identifies three different categories of land uses, namely, the first one is residential/public use areas that are identified in yellow, industrial and commercial areas, which are shown in orange over here, and then environmental and open space areas, which are shown in green. So as you can see, it's a very high-level land use framework. The previous, like MDP, which is the map shown on the screen, land uses of most of the IDP, it basically identifies land uses within the entire area of the IDP, except this last quarter section of land along all sites, and predominantly that land was beyond the 50-year annexation boundary that was identified in the previous IDP. So for this area, there was no future land use concept identified. Moving forward, I'm just going to provide a quick overview about the future like land use concept that we developed as part of the current draft of the IDP. In general, this map follows the pattern of land uses established in the current IDP, which was done in 2010. So you can see that there are no majority of changes. But some adjustments were made to address the feedback that we received through engagement and the workshops that we did with the Joint Steering Committee. In addition to that, some of the additional developments that have happened in the last 10 plus years. So this framework identifies predominantly 4 different land use categories. The most elaborate one is residential areas, which are identified in yellow. And this is a very general land use category. It includes a variety of lifestyles ranging from rural to urban residential lifestyles that may be considered within the IDP area. The commercial and light industrial areas that are shown in purple, which is right here, all those areas. And then heavy industrial areas that are shown in navy blue, which is right here, all those navy blue colors. And then last but not the least, recreation/natural areas that are shown in green. The new IDP also provides conceptual land uses for the whole of the IDP, including the outermost quarter section. So as I suggested before, the previous IDP did not include any land use vision for at the periphery. So we did additional engagements and made sure that the underlying land uses in the respective municipal development plans from the county and the city were reviewed to come up with this draft vision for the entire area of this intermunicipal development plan boundary. Moving forward, now I'm going to talk about the framework or approach for the implementation for within the IDP area through future area structure plans. Now, this map is from your existing IDP done in 2010. So one of the most important changes for this IDP is the approach to the future area structure plans. So in the current IDP, joint area structure plans were required for specific areas within the IDP. These ASPs were broad statutory plans encompassing large areas of lands within the IDP. The area of each ASP was predetermined, which can be seen on this map. So you have these 3 different colors in the southeast and the southwest, identified in orange, yellow, and green. These ASPs were intended to be jointly produced by the city and the county, though in the last 10 plus years, they were not developed. So this gave us an opportunity to review this approach and work with both municipalities to see what could be really an implementable approach when it comes to future area structure plans and guiding future land use development within the IDP area that is provides direction but also is flexible as we move forward and which works for both municipalities. Uh, so this particular slide, I'm going to talk about our approach for the future land use concept as developed in this IDP. So this IDP takes a different approach to the development of subsequent plans in the IDP. The first tier of plans required in the IDP area are intermunicipal area concept plans, which would fulfill a similar role to the area structure plans in the current ASP, which are broader in nature. As these plans are only required on county lands, these plans would be led by the county, who will also determine the exact area of each plan. This needs to be done within 1 year of the draft area structure, draft IDP coming into effect. The city will then have an opportunity to comment on these plans, but they won't be directly involved in the development of these intermunicipal area concept plans. As they cover large areas, intermunicipal area concept plans will only need to be required for county lands located in the southeast and the southwest of the city, as identified by the blue border on the currently displayed map, which is right here. The area of the IDP land surrounding the city on the north side, which is right here, will be exempt from requiring these intermunicipal area concept plans. These plans would be considered statutory in nature and would be adopted in accordance with the general area structure plan requirements outlined in the Municipal Government Act. The second tier of plans required in the IDP area are the local area structure plans, which are detailed plans typically governing development of lands at the quarter section level or smaller. These plans have a more specific and detailed requirements than the intermunicipal area concept plans, the exact details of which would be outlined in the terms of reference to be developed by the county within 1 year of the intermunicipal development plan approval. Local area structure plans would only be required for new residential subdivisions containing 6 or more lots or non-residential subdivisions involving 2 or more lots. So that's how this framework is going to work, where people have to do, or the county will develop those broader intermunicipal area concept plans, and the subsequent landowners for the quarter section level will be developing those quarter section specific local area structure plans. I'm just going to provide a quick overview about the current framework that is in place when it comes to referral requirements. As you can see on this screen, there are multiple a list of documents that are required in the current framework to be referred to the other municipality. And right now, the referral area is required for developments in the entire IDP area. So within this red boundary inside and the outer boundary over here, all the developments within those areas need to be referred by each municipality to the other municipality. And the review timelines, the way they are in the current framework, are 30 days for those document reviews as identified over here. So we made some changes to the referral area like regulations. Predominantly, the list of documents that need to be referred to is same. There are like very minor like changes, which I won't spend more time like reading them. But the big difference between the earlier framework and the current draft framework is we have reduced that referral area. Predominantly, it is going to be contained within the inner boundaries of these the ring road, because the thought process was the developments happening in the extreme southwest and beyond the ring road. There might be less requirement in terms of the intensity of those developments, so they could be exempt from the referral process. And then overall, the review timelines were reduced from 30 days to 14 days, and this was supported by both municipalities in a way to reduce red tape and make the process more efficient. When it comes to the servicing requirements, the current IDP, the connection of municipal services into the county was encouraged but not required in all of the IDP area. Additionally, the current IDP is also silent on on-site servicing, containing no statements in support or opposition. So that's how the current framework worked when it comes to servicing requirements. So this is a new kind of approach for the proposed servicing within the IDP area. The new approach is slightly more customized depending upon a location and development intensity. And we also had a chance to discuss this approach with the industry stakeholders that are active in the area. And in general, there was support for this approach. To start with, developments will require a connection to municipal services if they are of high intensity and located within 1/4 section from the city boundary. However, if they are located within the IDP areas, do not require an intermunicipal area concept plan, connection is also not required. These areas are those shown, on the north end of the IDP boundary. So within these areas, those servicing connections will not be required, but on the south side, within 1/4 section of the existing city boundary, municipal connections will be required. Continuing on, but they may be exempt if the broader intermunicipal area concept plans allow them to have on-site servicing. So in general, there is also an additional statement that states that developments that are beyond 1/4 section of the city boundary do not require connection to municipal services, regardless of their intensity, though if someone wants to, they can provide that. So just to summarize, within this entire area, on-site servicing is acceptable, but if someone wants to provide municipal service extensions, that could be considered. This is one of the last topics before I will be concluding my presentation. So the last one is the dispute resolution process. So while the existing IDP has a custom detailed dispute resolution process unique to solely disputes in the IDP area, the new IDP takes the approach of utilizing the dispute resolution approach established in the ICF. This standardizes and simplifies the dispute resolution process, allowing for ease of use and understanding. Another main difference between the existing IDP and the draft IDP is how a dispute is defined. The existing IDP identifies only disagreements about statutory or non-statutory plan or the current land use bylaw as disputes. The new draft IDP identifies disputes or disagreements relating to the interpretation of the IDP as a dispute. So because of that, what happens is now the councils will have a defined process to follow in case there is a dispute regarding the interpretation of the IDP policy itself. The final major difference between the dispute resolution process is that the current IDP, the dispute resolution process is activated at the moment another municipality provides the first municipality with a concern. So whenever that happens, a dispute resolution process could have been initiated in the existing framework, but in the new IDP framework, the process is only activated after the bylaw is given a second reading by the council in which the application has been received. This is to avoid unnecessary triggering of the dispute resolution process, as it ensures that the council has an opportunity to accept or refuse the application prior to a dispute resolution process is triggered. So that really summarizes my overview about those 6 key topics about the major changes that we have basically undertaken as part of this IDP update. Again, we are really looking forward to your input and comments so that we can take these drafts to the next level and then take them through additional public engagement process. So my last slide talks about the upcoming public engagement. So today and on May 31st, there will be these 2 committee presentations to the city and county committees. We're anticipating that late June, we are aiming to have our open house, the first open house after the project got reinitiated. That will provide an opportunity for residents from both municipalities to review the draft IDP and provide the feedback. And having known that both municipal councils are comfortable with those drafts before they're presented to public. And then after that open house is done, our team will work internally with administration, will develop those what we heard reports that will include the summary of public and stakeholder feedback, and then we will make necessary updates to the draft IDP. And then finally, early August, our intention is to have additional open house so that to give people additional opportunities for their feedback and eventually develop the next versions of the IDP before they're brought back to both councils for public hearing and approval process. That really concludes my presentation, and looking forward to answering any questions that you may have. Thank you very much.
I look around the room to see Councillor Bressi. Go ahead.
Great. Thank you, Chair Blackmore. 2 questions. One that I know the answer to, but just in case somebody's watching and they have questions. My understanding is if we change the IDP and we change some of the land use planning concepts, that doesn't require anybody to do anything with existing development, right? This might only impact people if they choose to do some redevelopment or choose to do something different with their land than they're currently doing today. Is that correct?
Yes, that's absolutely right. I think IDPs are really the future land use visions, and these are like land use designations. The existing zoning will remain as it is in the land use bylaw, and if people want to stay as they are, and there are like specific policy statements in the IDP confirming this fact that land uses can continue the way they are right now. But if someone wants to change that land use from, say, agricultural land use to another land use, then they'll have to abide by the policies established in the IDP. So I hope that answers the question.
Excellent. Thank you. And if I may, one more. My other one is, forgive me, I know this got talked about earlier, but I forget where it landed. The dispute resolution process in terms of it being initiated after second reading of the bylaw, is there something in there to prevent council when they're doing something in the IDP area or in the referral area from having second and third reading at the same meeting, just to make sure that the other municipality has an opportunity to initiate a dispute if they need to?
Yes, there is a sentence about that. So that way, after it will only after the second reading, the dispute resolution process may be initiated, and then I mean, if it's not going forward, then the third reading has to happen at a separate meeting.
Excellent. Thank you.
I see no other hands going up in the chambers, and so I would look to Chief Glavin. Do we need any kind of motion for this?
Thank you, Chair Blackmore. As there's no specific direction coming out of this committee to change the current plan, you can just receive it for information.
Okay, I'd look for a motion. Councillor Bressi.
Yeah, so moved.
So the motion is to receive this for information. That is in order, so I'll call a question.
Plot in favor.
Bressie in favor.
Mayor Clayton in favor.
Councillor Blackmore in favor. So that motion does carry. And so thank you very much for joining us today, gentlemen. And we will move on to the next item on the agenda, which is the outstanding items list. Go back to Chief McEachern for that.
Thank you, Chair Blackmore. For the outstanding items list, number 1310, which is the cell phone shrouding, that one went to last committee, so that one would recommend be removed. And 1321 and 1317 are actually not coming back to committee. They're going directly to council, so the recommendation to remove them from this list as well.
Councillor Bressie?
Great, thank you. I don't know if I'd agree with removing things that are going direct to council, just because council doesn't have an oil list, so then we're not tracking that anywhere any longer.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
So then I would move, if it's in order, I would move that committee accept the outstanding items list with the removal of 1310.
That motion is in order. I will call a question.
Plot in
Clayton in
favor.
favor. Sorry,
In favor.
E-scribe is a little wonky today.
That motion does carry. We have one item coming forward in camera, so I'd look for a motion to go in camera. Councillor Bressie,
So moved.
and I'll call that question,
Plot in favor.
Mayor Clayton in favor.
In favor.
and that carries. We won't come back